Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich Shanxi. Let us continue on from where we last left off. The crisis is brewing in the country. I think I want to split you a little bit more on the Beijing side. There might be a coup. There might be a purge. We're gonna have to kind of wait and see. Again, I still want to get the Death of Jin in charge of the country. I think they might have a little bit more of an interesting role to play in the unification of China. Okay, mostly been elected. The Death of Jin, Yujiao? As long as being drawn in the province, disturbing reports, betrayal, and lies are gonna trickle in. Perhaps most shocking, however, is the recent death of General Jing Jiajing from a gunshot wound occurring while he was in his own home. The general was a native of Shanxi and an early revolutionary commander of the Jihad Revolution. An ally of Yang Yusheng and later the Guomindang, his offense of Jian against Liu Zhanhua solidified his reputation among the high command. But his suspicion of social activists, trade unions, and peasant associations, combined with general disillusionment following a northern expedition, created a distance between him and the GMJ. Rumors also been swirling for potential defection to Yan's side. The police preliminary investigation had been concluded. It appears his death was legitimately an accident. On the other hand, however, Jin was a major power holder in Yulin, and his influence in northern Shanxi meant he posed significant threat to both Yan and Fang. The funeral will be held promptly, with many of the former subordinates attending at a tense moment. The general's consensus was that it was a tragic accident, a heinous act. And again, we want Fang. Yes. It was a heinous act. You become a little bit more powerful, which is what we want to see. Because I want to have like a small, just like a little baby revolution. You know, there's a small little revolution in Shanxi. Is that so much to ask? Also, I never actually turned off Fog of War. Get that shit off my screen. But if you are enjoying the video and enjoying the series so far, you know, you should press the like button, you should press the subscribe button. It does help us out. And I don't usually do these kind of not call outs. I don't know, like call to actions. Like that's what they're called. I don't usually do these call to actions in the beginning of the video, but it does really help us out. Lots more decisions to manage influence levels. Let's resume the 10-year plan. You know, 1946. I mean, to me, that sounds like a great year. So let's get our way over there as quickly as we possibly can. Also, is there any way I can train more units? We have 400 guns. I mean, we could get one more. Actually, I cannot. Because you're a special template, I can't build units. And you're locked. I'm guessing maybe I'm missing something. I can't build more units right now. Who knows? Okay, the pressure of the 10-year plan and the animosity between Shanxi strongmen created an atmosphere of growing distrust and authoritarianism in the province. The governor and his men had determined to stamp out the opposition in the province, combining increasing economic control with political repression. Magistrates from the districts and their subordinates feel a number of eyes looking over the soldiers, and many have been called back to the capital for regular reports and retraining. Those deemed incompetent and insufficiently loyal have been dismissed. Headsmen of villages have been made salaried employees of the government. A gift few seem to appreciate has received a small amount of summoning for retraining. Modeling his administration after that of Japan and the Socialist Union of Britain from afar, whispered the merge of a new secret police force known as the Peace Preservation Bureau. Over 10,000 were recruited over the last few years, with villages' offices being established in recent weeks, and auxiliary peace preservation corps being mobilized as well. These agents are expected to supplement the already large, if somewhat stagnant, police force led by Commissioner Nan Pailin, a longtime security head of the province. Leaked internal quotes suggest a goal of one policeman for every 25 families and a potential need for a reign of terror to keep people online. This effort has rolled downhill with paramilitary Boy Scouts and young people's groups both encouraging their members to practice reciprocal surveillance. As far as the police state's totalist and legionary stroll, Shanxi's progress is no doubt come at a cost. Hey, well, you do get a little bit of stability. A little totalitarianism for a little bit of stability. That's a trade I'm willing to make. Okay. Can Afghanistan have ended a war? Not a huge surprise there. It is what it is. Send in the army. I do want to get this done. Like as fast as we possibly can would be preferable. With anti-imperialist and anti-foreign sentiment at an all-time high in the provincial and political realm, there's no surprise that culture is turning that way as well. Anti-German sentiment is particularly has been high ever since their intervention and regular abuse is done by the OFG. They hate OAG. A local drama group in southern Shanxi has put on a play called Down with the Traitor, a one-act drama performance that has achieved much success as a propaganda tool. Performed in a local dialect, the author was no other than Shanxi's own Xiaozuli. Xiao was born a poor Shanxi Shanxi farming family who was fortunate enough to attend a free normal school in Shanghai. Given an education from his grandfather, a member of the syncretic three-sex faith, he was also exposed to tales of the exploits of modern countries, including stories of George Washington, the French Revolution, industrialization, Turgenov, and Izbin. Although not a socialist, he was imprisoned during the political paranoia of the Northern Expedition, brought to Taiyuan, and the guards browbeat the flesh out of him and his fellow prisoners. When he was unable to say anything about socialism, he was giving socialist pamphlets to read. He was given socialist pamphlets to write his confessions by the guard. Finally released, the later was forced to see his family abused by a landlord. Zhao had made a left-wing turn. The authorities had kept a careful eye on him and his compatriots, but his artistic depictions of rural life in northern China had nonetheless won him acclaim and protection for now. He had a little bit of war support. I mean, we are at, currently, I believe that's like negative 12%, if I'm reading these numbers correctly. Okay, so we now have the Lai Kuan clique in the south, which should be led by the Grand Republican League. But I believe that's also the WWII. I think. Like, don't quote me on this, okay? But I'm pretty sure they're the same group. An early rising society. When spinning a web or weaving a net is not only vital that it is kept sturdy and strong, but also able to support growth and change. So too much of the society can run with both hardiness reserved through the times and flexibility to be able to change as necessary. The fight against social evils and a common goal for all of China's reformers, both revolutionary and conservative. In Shanxi, the rule of this modern progressive government has sought to eliminate what they perceive as social ills, prostitution and sexual deviance, idleness and sloppiness, and a range of other social crimes such as gambling, brawling, and the use of the old lunar calendar, the worst offense of all. As a testament to the province's dedication to eliminating any sign of backwardsness, the early rise society meets every morning to knock on doors around the province, report anybody still in bed after 6 a.m. I would be in jail so goddamn quickly. Boy Scouts, officials, and other civic groups have been called to monitor any miscreants, and school children being sent to offenders' home to curse and yell at them until they come out and apologize. Others of behavior deemed inappropriate by the state are hounded in the streets by crowds, including many children, people shouting, "Bad man, won't you be good?" The actual enthusiasm of these mods vary. Some merely come for the spectacle or seek to ward off having the crowd sicked on them. But the impacts of social coercion have had plenty of influence on the culture of the province, for better or for worse. 6 a.m. I think is maybe a little, I would say that's a little early. Like 7? I think 7's reasonable. Also, like, how many people in 1936 Shanxi have an alarm clock? Who's waking these people up at 6 a.m.? I have no fucking idea. You're gonna make social and urban worker relations better. The GMJ KMT Alliance, education, banking. I mean, I want somebody. The allure of socialism. We need an intelligence agency for you. Authoritarian, agrarian-related decisions stronger. Technical, make them a little bit better. Alignment neutral. Alignment is with the Yan clique, who's not who I want. I want alliance with the Gaojimin, like you. Political power, daily compliance. Compliance would be more useful once we maybe annex more territory. You're independent. You're with the. Is everybody for the Yan clique? You're not. I mean, it's 10% stability and recovery rates. Yeah, you know what? I will align you here as well. Okay, so this actually is how we really start swinging this in our favor. In the darkest days of human existence, sometimes it takes a holy man to lift the people from their suffering, or at least try to alleviate the pain they feel. In Jinqing's Ministry of China, his aim is to go even further, bringing about a revolutionary change in existence that will at least eliminate the crushing poverty and oppression of the low Beijing. His elevation by the powers that be reflected in the culmination of a lofty career, melding spiritual duties with political aims. I think also every advisor should get a little pop-up when you hire them. I think this is actually a really neat little feature here. A former personal chaplain of Fang Yushai, Yu represents a Zillion socialist and Christian wing of the JMJ. He has worked to carry out Fang's ambitious social policies in the past, including service as an educator during Fang's administration of Kaifeng and becoming a director of general affairs for the GMJ. His late assignment, the formation of the pseudo-governmental organization he calls the Economic Committee of the People's Revolutionary Government. In his latest efforts to bring a gap between the aspirations of the Shanxi clique and these of the people on the ground. Okay, so we get a medium amount of gain here. And that gets you up to 38. You're still just gathering strength. I don't know where these numbers are. Abilities at 0. Where do I actually see? Oh no, is this it right here? Okay, so it's actually the first country in Kaiserreich that actually uses the balance of power mechanic, which I guess makes sense here. 1 second. Okay, something on my desk somehow fell off magically. I'm not going to worry about the implications of that. The 10-year plan continues. 1930 was a major turning point for both Yan Shishang and Fang Yuzhang. Having been brought low and humiliated with their armies as demoralized as ever, both men were forced to do some heavy introspection. Puupi Fu's triumph, despite significant odds and being surrounded on all sides, could simply not be attributed to superior military skill or extensive support. It was clear to the warlord of Shanxi that his Zili's mastery of rail and communication technology, as well as developing industrial base, was responsible for routing their forces on 2 separate occasions. Never again will they be allowed to make the same mistake. For the longest time, both Yan Shishang and Fang Yuzhang have, like the Confucian-trained manners of old, prioritized agriculture and the farmer as the foundation of China. While both still value agriculture as a sector, Fang more so than Yan, it has become clear that Shanxi will need a heavy industrial base of its own to compete with the likes of Beijing and Shenyang, both of which are receives extensive foreign support. Yan even more so than Fang, taking this to heart, spending a wholesale investment of heavy industrial development that would stun even the totalists of Europe. The Shanxi government over the last several years have put in, with fluctuating levels of drive success, significant political and economic capital into the project. The collapse of Sun Chongfeng's administration is broken, at least for now, and Wu Peifu's grip on China. However, it has become clear that the fading Western influence on the status quo and a near decade of Beijing political entrenchment means that should Wu Peifu survive this or be replaced, Shanxi is unlikely to be able to return to its pre-1936 status quo. Therefore, Shanxi must take an initiative to develop its economic base and consolidate its power in the north when it likes its Zili before it is too late. Furthermore, the 10-year plan has spurred significant competition between Yan and Fang, as well as their allies, all while using this massive, all-encompassing drive to consolidate grip over the province and instill their own hold on the political, economic, and social spheres of the Shanxi citizens. No doubt, the successful and failures of the 10-year plan will determine the future of Shanxi and possibly all of China. Okay, so let us just emerge. We're not going to really read about the mechanics here. I think we can probably figure that out on our own. And if we don't figure it out, then that's also that's fun in its own way. By the way, how's Beijing doing here? We still apparently 19% is a firm hold. I don't know if I believe that so much, but here we are. Each new generation. What are you? Manage influence levels. Let's go first and foremost. The battle for the countryside. I think the countryside makes sense. There's a lot of countryside. I can't imagine the city centers of China, at least in Shanxi, are that large. A Black Money relief package. Although China has, is this about Beijing's influence grows? And we get this is now stronger because of you. Yes, we will manage on our own. We don't need Beijing here. I can deal with this on my own. And also, I don't want your influence getting any more powerful. I'm not happy with that. We're now 5% currently in favor of you. We need to get up to 100. If we don't get up to 100, then this whole thing's in kind of for naught. So I will say the left camp team is doing pretty well down here. Actually, this whole war in the Nanjing clique has been lasting a surprisingly long time. This war over here never used to last this long. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's taking them so long. I mean, you know, they won by now, but even, what, 4 months? 4 months is actually a surprisingly long time. Anqing, why would you start a two-front war? Just answer me that question. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it's like, you do you, man, but like, I don't know what your overall strategy here was. Of course, we will be going for Feng here. Shanxi's agricultural sector is built upon its rivers, which have deposited a thick layer of alluvium into Shanxi's valley. The poor quality of land in the hilly mountainous province means that agriculture is concentrated in the valley of the Fan River in the south, the Taiyuan Basin in the center, the valley of the Hotou River to the north, and the Daotong Basin. Although tenantry is mostly unfeasible in many areas, in those where land is fertile, it is experienced inequalities, bringing considerable resentment and strengthening the dominion of the gentry. Initially, Yan Zhejian was a strong proponent of investing in the countryside, seeing as a means of reversing the trade imbalance that plagued Shanxi. Indeed, Confucian classics he read tended to focus on the agriculture, though prior attempts to wrest some control from the gentry had even seen some members of his hometown turn away when he visited. The gentry's sabotage efforts seemed as hostile to their own interests, while the increasing number of tenement farmers had grown sympathetic to the GMG since they arrived. Prior attempts at developing Shanxi's agriculture sector have earned mixed results, despite, or perhaps because, of its ambitious goals. The drought has crippled Shanxi's agriculture sector every year since 1934. Although the 10-year plan's primary focus is on industrialization, an effort at industrializing will require a stable land policy in its foundation. Therefore, after considerable deliberation, Shanxi, of course, will be following Feng here. And then we'll probably, you know, rally the peasants. Fantastic. We'll go with you. We'll sweep the gentry aside. And then we'll do the land reform. Presumably, at least. We can get this one done. Do I need both of you? Okay, 3 teachers. 3 men in many ways symbolize the vast gulf of ideas between the different factions of control of Shanxi's peasants and fields. The surge of tension in the countryside has provoked major conversation across the province about the future of the land. Thank you for political power. We have been, I would say, a little text heavy. I mean, you know, we're going to be end of episode 2 and we're halfway through 36. But that's just kind of like how Kaiserreich goes. We have a few more days left on you. White Sun over China. Don't need to worry about that too much. Fail if you're completed. 27 days. Do I even have enough time to finish? Okay, you have 21. Okay, so we will have enough time for this. Fantastic. Left Camp T is now at war with all of you. And that works just fine. The gentry protest. The gentry is not taking kindly to our recent efforts of remedying the situation in the countryside, fearing that the promised compensation would be paid in worthless bonds and their properties undervalued by a historically unreliable government. Not to mention worries about handing over control to the uppity peasants, the gentry has been quick to voice their displeasure in any avenue they could. Village elders have begun boycotting meetings held by Yan Zhishan to announce his new agenda, and have refused to even consider implementing changes in rent. The few that have demands not only fair compensation for the properties in hard currency, but are also scaling back the reforms. The gentry made no secret that they have been reaching out for help from the central government, with Wuhan newspapers accusing us of socialism and Beijing formally urging us to abandon our plans. We can either pay them off, we can brush them off, or we can pay you off. You know what? Pay them off. It's actually not that big of a deal. I mean, oh no, we have, what is it, more consumer goods for a year, for half a year? Who gives it? I have 2 factories. Who cares? Who cares? Also, who not align themselves with the Qing government? That's a little bit worrying. I will say that now. Okay, let us sweep the gentry side. Let's get these reforms done ASAP. Oh, you're not done yet. How would I ever possibly have enough time for this? We can intimidate the landlords. Weekly war support goes down. It also costs us 500 rifles. And no, stability's more. Let us intimidate the landlords. We'll bring rifles to all of our meetings. But this is going to pass like no matter what. I don't know how you could possibly... okay, so it's going to just be a constantly reoccurring event. Which is fine. It's okay. It could be worse. What do I want to research next? Let's go for 1918. Support weapons. Again, I don't know if we're going to be going to war anytime soon. But it is a constant thing we got to kind of keep in the back of our mind. It is a possibility. It is a possibility. Okay, I got more Olympics. And we are at 152 political power. So we could get like one big change here. Or we can get another leader for the GMJ. You're neutral. Bank president. I mean, I think it's really just you. You're independent. Yeah, we're just gonna go with you next, just so we get even more power for Fang. Hu Jintong and his brother Hu Jindao are members of the distinguished Kuomintang family in Shanxi, and their dedication to what many have dismissed as an extinguished cause attracted some sympathy, many eye rolls from those around them. Nonetheless, the powers that be, no doubt with some arm twisting by his brother Hu Jingyu, have elected to appoint Yu as the head of propaganda department, giving him a mouthpiece within provincial politics. The wisdom behind this choice is somewhat questionable. Bang Yushan certainly depends on the notion that he is leading a multi-plurality Republican revolution. The KMT are one of the largest in Shanxi, but still theoretically easy to control due to their smaller size. Ironically, the radicalism perhaps makes them easier to rein in, as it puts a natural limit to their support base independent of the GMJ. Nonetheless, KMT activism is expected to see an upswing as urban intellectualism in Taiyuan feel more comfortable affiliating with socialist elements. Okay, so the KMT can get a little bit of support. It's fine. So are you now... We're now in stage 1. Which does give us a political power penalty. If they reach military supremacy, they'll immediately revolt. And if you reach maximum, you will have an immediate purge. No, we'll get our way up to Fang. He's a large lad. He knows what he's doing. But I think that at least for right now, this is going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So thanks everybody for watching. My name is Anthem. If you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not doing, click something down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.